what are you nerding out about now?
All right, you had something that sounded rather exciting that I have not heard about.
Yeah, this was so. I love one sheet RPGs. Just it's RPGs that is exactly what it sounds like. They all fit on one sheet of paper. There's a ton of really great ones out there. Honey Heist is kind of the biggest game in that space, most popular. Critical
Honey
Role,
Heist.
yeah, Critical Role did. They played a session of Honey. They did a Honey Heist one shot. But these one sheet RPGs, they're primarily designed to be one shots. It takes no time to prepare. You can just get out the sheet of paper, teach everyone how to play in like 2 minutes, and then go. So I've been introducing these to my RPG group, and we played. The Witch is Dead is my favorite, and we've played that. And so we were wrapping up another game. It's a map making game called A Quiet Year, which is a weird offshoot genre of RPGs, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, we wrapped that up, and we had a couple hours left. It's like, oh, we don't want to go home yet, so I pulled out a game I'd heard a lot of good things about called Everyone is John, and the title of it, like the subtitle, is like a game for three or more terrible people. which is my friend group. So, but the premise is John is a man who is insane, just a guy. He's actually a guy that's like really bad at pretty much everything. But he has a number of voices in his head, and so each player plays one of the voices in his head, and you pick if you're one of the voices, you pick two skills. These are the things that you're actually good at, and you pick one obsession, and you keep that secret. And
Okay.
so what happens is you have a pile of willpower, and every time John falls asleep, gets knocked unconscious, gets bored, like if 10 minutes go by and nothing's really happened, he gets bored. Um, or a voice fulfills its obsession. Anytime that happens, all the voices can bid willpower to see who now takes control of John. And so throughout this game, you're constantly swapping who's the voice in control of John, and you're trying to secretly fulfill your obsessions. So, um, we had a guy, one of our players. His obsession was getting into fist fights. He wanted to get into a fist fight. So he would steer John in the direction of that. And anytime I got into a fist fight, then all right, everyone comes together, and we're going to bid on, what see who takes control next. And it was absolutely crazy, zany fun. You, whenever John falls asleep, I was the game master. You do not tell them where he wakes up at. You say who wants control, and once you figure out who has control, then I'm like, okay. So when I started the game, I was like, okay, you wake up. John wakes up, and he is in the champagne room of the most dive bar strip club you've ever seen. Um, Proceed. And the guy who won was the guy who liked to get into fist fights, and he fought a stripper. So it's like, and it went downhill from there in the best, most fun way possible. It was good, zany fun. And so I'd heard a lot of good things. I was a little hesitant just because I wasn't quite sure how this would play out. I kind of struggled to see I struggle to see how this game is going to have a suitable length to it. But now that I've played it, I see it's got like the perfect length for it. Um, I'm probably going to try and run this live at some convention in the near future. I don't know which one, maybe Conjuration or something like that. But it was a ton of fun. So
There you go.
yeah, so check it out. You can
I
get it for
wonder,
free online. So
would it would it work to have the audience be John? Like you could run it as a panel?
You probably could. I ran The Witch is Dead as a live play at Conjuration, and I literally just like I had a couple of author friends uh, agree to play, and then it was like, "Oh, I really need a couple more folks," and I just like asked, like, "Hey, anyone in the crowd want to come play this game?" And two people came up, and it was fantastic, you know. So I could definitely see the fun thing to do would be you have your panelists, and then you make you make the crowd pick their skills, like what
Oh.
skills they're good at,
There
and
you
that
go.
because like one of the guys uh he picked his skill, and I did not understand why he picked this. His skill was burping the alphabet. He could burp
Okay.
the alphabet, but his obsession was getting people to look at him with disdain. That was his obsession, and he thought, oh well, I'll burp the alphabet at these people and they'll be like, oh, what are you doing? um but he failed the role every time he tried to do that. Like this guy nailed, like, kick, he was, if anyone won, everyone is John, it was him. He was just killing it. But every time he went to roll to try and burp the alphabet, he failed every time. It was so good. And meanwhile, everyone's like, why are you even trying to do this? Like, what's going on here?
Oh
So
man. So it's
yeah.
just the many personalities of John.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. And it's one that, like, you don't there's no, like, someone who's never played a role-playing game before, seriously, you can teach someone how to play this in like 3 minutes, and the rules are super easy. It's a good entry point to show people how theater of the mind works. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've recently had a new kid join my D&D group, and he's never played D&D before. He's in his late teens, I think. My brother met him playing Minecraft. He joined
Yeah.
us, and he's starting to get that D&D isn't isn't a video game. He came in very much with a video game mindset, and so we're trying to break him of that and let him know that it's more of a collaborative storytelling game.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was once when he was like, I want to go swimming in the ocean and look for a dragon egg. I'm like, okay. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't want to say no, but
Right.
I was like, the chances of finding a random dragon egg on a random beach are next to nil. So I'm like, all right, roll me an investigation check. And basically I was like, he's got to get a nat 20, and then I'm going to have him roll a percentile dice, and he's got to get 100. If he gets both of those, sure, you can find a dragon egg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah.
I had a roommate that had that. He was late 20s and had never played before, and we sat down like, oh man, you've heard a lot about it, you've always wanted to play, now's your chance. But he was so much in that video game mindset that he could not he couldn't make the adjustment, and he played 2 sessions, and we were like, just trying to be like, man, no, like, I see why you would think that. But he would always say, like, well, if this was such and such game, I could do this. Like, that's cool.
This isn't such and such game.
Yeah, we're not playing Half-Life. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I would say for someone like that, if you just really want, like, 4th edition D&D was about the closest version to a video game. Like, it felt very World of Warcraft-esque to me, and how it worked. I hated it, but that is an option.
Random kid, give him a dragon egg, but make it a demon lizard.
Yes.
Except he spelled demon Deamon, and so that makes me think like an electronic daemon, like
Oh yeah,
mailer demon. So
Yeah.
now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna hatch and it's just gonna send spam mail to everyone every time they go to town. Every time they go to town, this lizard's gonna run off to the mail to the post office and send
Yeah.
spam mail to all your friends.
It could be
Oh.
a DEA mun, and it's a drug enforcement agent. Uh, a lot of ways
Oh
a lot
man.
of ways you could go with it.
Oh man.
So
But
what are you nerding out about?
yeah, so this past well, it's been going on for a little while now. It's going to end up having I think 28 episodes total. It's still got one or two left. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. It's an anime and it's a bit different. So it's a fantasy anime where the main character is an elf and her sense of time is very warped. Because she's going to live hundreds of years, so if a task takes them 2 years, that's nothing. Whereas a human is like, this is going to take 2 years. What? And so it actually starts off with her and her party having just defeated a demon lord, and they're walking through town for a parade, and they're like, this is great. We had and there's a couple of humans in the group, a dwarf, and then there's her, the elf, and so the humans are like, wow, this took 10 years, and the elf is like, 10 years, whatever, and so they agree to meet up in 80 years for this celestial event that's going to happen. And so it does kind of a time skip, and she's coming back to meet up with them, and they're all super old, right? And she starts to regret not having spent more time with these people and gotten to know them better and things like that. And so her journey, the Beyond Journey's End, she decides that she's basically going to end up retracing the 10-year journey that they had done to defeat the demon lord. And so it's very interesting concept because it's after the conflict of the world, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And so I like it. She's very, the main character Frieren, she's very quirky, obviously, and her sense of time is very off, but even other things she's very quirky about too. Like, she is obsessed with finding or learning as much magic as she can, whether it's some ridiculous spell that does next to nothing. She doesn't care. She just wants to collect every grimoire and learn every bit of magic she can. And so that pops up in her personality quite a bit. And she, during the show, she pulls out these just random spells that are just complete chaos, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
No, I've been hearing about it and I've really been wanting to check it out. Partly because I really enjoy um, media that kind of explores that, like, okay, we've defeated the Dark Lord. Now what? Um, like one of my all-time favorite books is Grunts by Mary Gentle. It's an older book, but the premise is it's about a group of orcs that the Dark Lord gets defeated, and now what do they do? And in this case, they wind up with machine guns. It gets weird. It's it's a lot of fun. It's real over the top, real, but it's a lot of fun. But so I enjoy that. But the other thing is, like, so much with fantasy, what you see is an elf is really just a human. An orc is really just a human. It sure, oh, they've got some mild cultural differences, but you don't really see a lot of people that really do a good job of exploring kind of the real implications of, like, you are going to live for hundreds of years. You are going to view things very differently than a
Mhm.
human. And so that is intentionally intriguing. And if I had Crunchyroll, I would already have watched it. But I don't have Crunchyroll yet, so may have to get it just for this because I want to see it that bad. But
Yeah, I wonder. So Crunchyroll, there is some stuff that is available for free. I don't know if
probably not this because it was so popular. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's going to be one they're like, no, pay us.
well, and what they'll do a lot of times is they'll make the first 3 episodes available.
Those teases. Those
yeah.
teases.
Although it does not look like they did that with Frieren.
Yeah.
I pulled it up just to check.
Good. Too good. It's too good. That's fine.
It is very good. But yeah, there's some stuff where you can watch all of it on Crunchyroll. They've got some stuff that's available for free with obviously with ads. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely looking forward to that. To watching it. It sounds really right up my alley. So
yeah, it's good stuff.